We started with simple agents that could write code for us. Everyone was blown away. Then agents evolved. Now they don't just generate code, they can trigger real tools. Today I'll show you something game-changing, using an agent and the Bright Data MCP to pull real, live web data in real time. That means if the Tesla stock suddenly tanks just now, because Elon changed his profile picture just now, we will know. That's what Bright Data MCP does. It turns the entire web into a live data source for AI. Instead of writing scrapers, it exposes tools like web search, scraping, browser automation, and more under one interface than any MCP-compatible client can call, without needing to write any code. So in this video, you'll learn how to set it up, connect it to the agent of your choice, and use it to fetch real-time data. And therefore, we ask the question, can we scrape the live internet? Let's scrape that. The first thing you need is a Bright Data account. So go ahead and get yourself signed up. So as you log into Bright Data, you need to just navigate on the left-hand side tab to MCP. And right here is the main page where you will get all your data. For anyone thinking if they should try it, there is a free tier with 5,000 requests per month, which is plenty to play around with on prototype. You'd be silly not to. Now, for most people in the video, and for myself, I suggest you start with the hosted remote option, because it's literally almost like a paste a URL and you're kind of done situation. So it's the easiest one to get started with. Now the local deployment is one if you want to host and run this in your own infrastructure to allow for maximum control. You can do that, but I suggest that if you're just getting started and you want to experiment and see how the MCP works, the remote option is the easiest one to go for. Now under the remote option, Bright Data gives you a ready MCP URL, which you can use to plug straight into your MCP client. You can see that the URL format is very specific and it contains your API key at the very end. Yes, you can try and copy my API key, and no, it won't work because by the time you're seeing this video, I have already rotated it. Now there is plenty of integrations that you can pick from, anything from Cursor to Claude to OpenAI, LangChain, N8N, and so on. Now for this example, I will be using Claude, and specifically I'm going to be using the desktop version of it, although here you have the choice between desktop and code. So now let me copy the URL of the Bright Data MCP and jump into my Claude desktop and show you how to get it connected. All right, we are in Claude, so how do we add the Bright Data MCP? Well, you navigate to your left navigation, you go down to your name and click on the settings. Now, within the settings, you're going to see an option called connectors. Now, connectors is where you can add your custom connector. Now, in this case, I'm going to give it a name called Bright Data and paste in that URL that we copied just a second ago. And here I can click add. What you'll notice is that we got a custom connector created under the name Bright Data, which is what we have called it. What happens now is that Claude now has a live web tool behind the scenes. So basically what you did by setting up the connector is you gave your AI agent, in this Claude, this huge power up. Before it knew the web, now it knows the live and the latest web. Very exciting. So we can actually start using Claude to get great results. But there's one more thing I want to talk about before we put it to the test. Now we can actually customize our MPC server with some advanced options. Now the Bright Data's MCP server offers two models to suit different needs. Well, there is the basic rapid mode, which is the free mode, which is just for basic kind of web scraping and unlocking web pages and getting back clean data as markdown. But also there is the pro mode. Now the pro mode allows us to access advanced scraping. We can have structured data from the top platforms. We can scrape data from like Amazon, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, etc. And the pro mode also provides full browser automation. So the pro mode is built for more large-scale use cases, if you wish. Now, if you would like to go ahead and use the pro version, in our main MCP dashboard page, if we click on remote and go into the advanced settings, you'll notice that you have the option to enter your unlocker zone, your browser zone, and then pick your API mode, whether it is Rapid or Pro. And as soon as we pick Pro, if I maybe just toggle and hide my API key, you'll notice that it appends this query parameter, which basically depicts if we're using the Bright Data MCP at the Pro level or the Rapid level, which is the free tier. All right, so for this demo, I wanted to be a little sneaky. So I wrote a prompt that's going to be a little harder than usual. It will introduce a lot of caveats and a lot of page navigation and a lot of data aggregation that will have to be performed by the Bright Data MCP. Something that if we were to write the scraping logic ourselves, it would take us quite a while and a few trial and errors to be able to most probably get it perfectly. So without any further ado, I'm asking Claude to visit the bmw.com page, navigate to the models section, and only look for Series 5 and 7 BMW models. Yes, I'm a BMW fan. And I want them to scrape all the models. And for each model, I wanted to collect the exact model name, its starting price, show the results by the starting price. So I wanted to do some filtering as well. And then I wanted to return the dataset as a CSV. Now, this might seem simple, but actually the BMW website is not that simple. And in order to get this information, you have to go to several different pages and look for several different results and collect very specific parts of the page and then put it all together. So it'll be very interesting to see it in action. So without any further ado, let's go. Now, right off the bat, you're going to notice that Claude realized that this is a scraping request, and probably the requirements here go slightly out of the capabilities of what Claude can offer. So it by default navigated to actually making use of the Bright Data MCP to run this request and to extract all the relevant information so that the result that it returns to us is satisfactory. Then it recognizes the live things that are happening on the site, things like a pop-up asking about region. So it rightly so navigates to the US site for all the pricing information. See, this is the great thing I really like. It knows that there is like a privacy banner and something is overlaying information that it might potentially need. So it knows how to dismiss all of that information. It knows how to handle it right off the bat to be able to access the information that it actually requires. And this is the beauty of having it all wrapped into this agent. You don't have to think about this yourself. All you have to do is just write that prompt, and then it goes ahead and handles all the rest for you, knowing how to handle situations that usually in a scraping flow would actually have to be accounted for by us, the people writing the scraping logic, and finding some solution to get over them. In this case, it's all happening automatically. Here we can also see another cool functionality. It's on the BMW page, and you can see all the models. And what it's doing is it's actually taking a screenshot. It's taking a screenshot of the page to realize where it's at and what kind of informations are visible. And here it takes a screenshot of whatever parts of the pages that it actually requires, and then creates a snapshot of that information. And then we can see that it's actually using the scraping browser to get the text. So that's one of the products of Bright Data. So as part of the MCP, there is a bunch of products integrated into it. And one of them is the scraping browser. And the scraping browser actually allows us and allows the model to get specific texts and extract specific text from the website to then obviously collect all that information and aggregate it into something that we have initially asked for. And as you can see, here it went for the 5 series models, now it's going for the 7 series models, so specifically like we requested, it's collecting all that data. It also recognized that there are other models named a little bit different that also fall into the 5 and 7 series category. I mean, I have to highlight again, I really loved the part where it suddenly realizes that it can access specific data, and rather than it's stopping the search like a normal scraping algorithm would kind of stop and say, okay, look, I wasn't able to fetch this element, you have to do something about it. In this case, what's happening is that it's finding an alternate solution. It's looking for things that it can fix. And right here, it has finally got to the end where it was able to create and do a summary and aggregate all that information for us. As you can see, we get the model names of all the 5 and 7 series, and we get the starting price. And obviously, if you were to compare this to actually writing your own algorithm, writing your own scraping logic, and utilizing all the tools, this is an extremely time-efficient way to get very cool information that usually would be very hard for you to aggregate on your own and would take you much longer, or again, very hard to actually write the scraping logic for. All right, and now you guys are the masters of the web. I hope that by watching this video, you feel much more powerful because you have access to so much live and incredible information. And as always, if you did like this video, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment down below in what we should scrape next. And as always, I will see you in the next Can We Scrape It video.